When it comes to new cryptocurrencies, there are a few things I look for to decide if it's a coin I want to invest in or not. And I'm going to talk about those things in this video. Now, before you start buying cryptocurrencies, you should at least have a general cryptocurrency investing strategy. Nothing in this video is considered financial advice, but for me, my approach is I want to buy coins that are going to have value in the medium, length, and hopefully long term. Because I want to buy a coin, forget about it, and see that coin go up in value over time. Some of you might have different approaches. A lot of people want to buy a coin, have it 10x, and then sell it to get the profits and invest in other coins that can then 10x. I'm looking for more of the passive approach. So for me, I'm looking for coins that offer a lot of value and are most likely to succeed long term. And in general, I think those are cryptocurrencies that support a network. So some examples of that would be Chia, which supports its own network that supports smart contracts, BNB, which supports the Binance Smart Chain, Sol for the Solana network, Ethereum, and a lot of these other big cryptocurrencies you hear about all of the time. I think these have the most likely chance to succeed long term because they support so many different projects. If instead you invest in tokens, which of course can be successful too, that token is tightly coupled to the success of one project. If that project doesn't do well, then that token's probably going to fail. That being said, an area of interest to me is jumping in on new tokens that, could support a project that goes long term. And you can often do this through different launch pads that offer different tokens for purchase. So we're going to look at some of those in this video as well. Now, before we get too deep into this, if you're enjoying the content so far, please be sure to subscribe. We post episodes every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and this is a great way to stay up to date with what's going on in the cryptocurrency industry. So if you're not entirely clear on the difference between a coin and a token, that's totally fine. You can basically just think of them both as cryptocurrencies. But to give you a more concrete example and to explain the difference, you can take a look at the coin Chia. This is a cryptocurrency built on its own blockchain. This smart chain supports smart contracts, so more apps can be built upon the Chia blockchain, and this is not built on top of another network like Ethereum or Binance. It's its own thing. Compare this to something like Cake, which is the token for PancakeSwap. This is built upon the Binance Smart Chain, and most likely this one is going to do well long term, because everybody needs to swap tokens. But it is still tightly coupled to that PancakeSwap application. If by chance that application failed, then the PancakeSwap token's probably not going to have much value. This is much less likely to happen for a network that supports numerous different projects, because every single one of those projects would have to fail, or the network would have to have some serious issues such that the entire thing collapses. So that's my opinion on this whole matter, but I'm sure many of you watching this have a different approach. So ultimately, you just need to pick your approach and stick with it over time. When it comes to investing in tokens, there are a bunch of them out there, and the quality of tokens tend to be pretty low if you just take the average of all of them, because anybody can go create a token, make some fancy marketing, and raise a ton of money. It's a little bit harder to build your own blockchain and support an entire network, or even fork an existing network. It requires a little bit more skill and a little bit more time and investment. So you have to take some care when it comes to what tokens to purchase. But if you could in some way outsource the research for these different tokens and then just invest a little bit of money in the good ones, then you could have a pretty good investment strategy. And that is essentially the purpose behind launch pads. So a launch pad is a company that's going to filter through all the new coin ideas, pick the best ones, and give the initial sale of the tokens to a group of people that support that launch pad. Now, my first exposure to this was with a project known as KickPad, and I got absolutely wrecked because I purchased 1,000 KickPad at nearly $3,000 total, and now you can purchase that same amount for about $600. So, pretty bad investment choice. I mean, it happens. I'm not like crying over it, okay? And on top of that, I sold Dogecoin and BNB, which then, went up 3x in price. So it was a pretty big loss for me. All so I could get an $8 allocation to a new cryptocurrency called Mist. But just because I had one bad incident, I'm trying not to just say, hey, all of these are bad, because ultimately the coin Mist that I did purchase went up in value. Not nearly enough, but it was a start. So maybe it's more important that you get in on these launch pads at the right time and the right price, and get in on any of the allocations you can, because now you can get in KickPad for like a fraction of the price I paid. Now you do need 2,500 KickPad just to get any of the allocations, but it is a guaranteed allocation, so it's a good way to get some new coins. So by the way this video is going, you probably think that I think that these launch pads are garbage. I don't think they're all garbage. I think it's really important that you spread out your investments and don't go all in on one particular coin or one particular category of coins. For example, I wouldn't just invest in all of the tokens on the Binance Smart Chain. What if that chain had a really big vulnerability and I lost essentially all of my net worth? So for me, I'm going to invest a portion in those long-term coins, and then I'm going to invest a portion on these new coins that could be the future. I think a really promising one right now is Radium and Radium Accelerator, which we talked about in last night's special video. That was just out of the blue. This one, you basically get a guaranteed allocation of the media cryptocurrency. And you get an additional benefit if you were staking the Ray coin or the Radium coin. And you do that from the staking tab over here. Now, one thing I mentioned is that there's a snapshot, and a few people didn't understand what I meant. Basically, if you want to gain access to this special tier where you probably are going to get a little bit more media cryptocurrency, then you had to have your Radium staked 1 week prior to this launch. So basically, at that point in time, they took a snapshot of who was staking, and then those wallets are able to get into the special pool for the media coin sale. So that coin sale is going to be going on for the rest of the day, so you can get in on that still if you're interested, because there is a public pool. This is the KickPad site that I was talking about, and I still think there is a future for this. So they do have upcoming coin launches such as Algo Painter. Like I said, with the snapshot, it might be a little bit too late for this one that's in 8 hours, so just watch the upcoming page for any new ones coming out soon. Now, this other really big one is Polkastarter.com. You're going to hear about this if you're in the cryptocurrency space, especially if you're looking at new coins. And this coin here, Standard, is coming out. Oh, that's a lot of stuff going on in 7 hours. But their process is a little bit more complicated. So I think you have to stake the Polkastarter coin, and you have to get whitelisted to get in on these purchases. And I also don't think it's a guaranteed allocation. There's still some chance, or you have to get there early and be one of the first people to buy. Now, I'm sure it changes from cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency, so I'm not just making a blanket statement for an entire platform. But with Polkastarter, there seems to just be a few more hoops you have to jump through to get in on these coins. I'm really not a fan of the whitelisting process that is often associated with these new coin launches. Often you have to follow their accounts and then give them some free advertising, and you're not even guaranteed cryptocurrency in exchange. So Polkastarter could be good, and I think people have had a lot of really high returns with Polkastarter, but it's a little bit more work, and you got to be possibly a little bit more spammy, tweeting out their stuff and getting whitelisted, basically approved to purchase these cryptocurrencies. So check it out, but not personally my favorite right now. Another big one is BSCPad, which is launching cryptocurrencies for the Binance Smart Chain. So let's go ahead and view all projects. And you can see there are a lot of ones that are coming up. Again, often this will be something where you have to stake. At least this one you get a % return. On some of them, you don't get anything except access to the sales. Now, if you're anything like me, it can be a little bit overwhelming having all these different websites to check and keep up on dates and all of the different tasks you have to do. And it would be really awesome if this information was aggregated in one place that you could just check once a day, for example. Ideally, we get to the point where we have something like that on this channel or in our community. I actually do post some coins that I'm getting into in the community, so if that's something you're interested in, you can check out the link below. The first one here is ICO drops. You can see active ICOs, and you'll hear ICO, IDO, pretty much the same thing. Upcoming ICO and ended ICO. Another really good one, CryptoRank.io, upcoming ICOs. You can get an entire list here, as well as if they are attached to a launch pad and what one. So for example, we have KickPad, which we talked about, and there's a few other ones listed here as well. Now, if you want to see what other launch pads there are, you can go up here and go to ICO Platforms and take a look at all of the different options. So Polkastarter's here on the top for, I'm not sure what they're sorted by, probably market cap. Yeah, so let's go by ROI. You can see BSCPad is the highest. We got a few others. Then Polkastarter's down here, maybe number 5. And then KickPad's down here. But there are obviously a lot of options out there, so do research and see which ones interest you the most. I see these new coins as a serious investment strategy, but I also think it has its own risks. Now, to be clear, not investment advice, but my thoughts on this is that if you take a percentage of your investment portfolio and spread it across numerous new coins, you have a pretty good chance of making a profit. Especially so when you can essentially outsource or offload a lot of the extra research to these launch pads. They get to see which coins are good, and you can just trust those launch pads. Yeah, you should probably do more research on each of the coins, but if you're just investing in tons of them, you might not have time to look at every single detail of every single coin. Let me know your thoughts below, and if there are any other good platforms out there that I didn't catch. We'll be talking about which coins I'm getting into in my community, one-time purchase for lifetime access to crypto enthusiasts and experts. We talk about all the cryptocurrencies we're buying, when we're buying, how much, and we're pretty transparent, so check it out. I'll leave a link below. And if you've enjoyed this content, please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.